I worship you. What those words really mean? Glenn prayed earlier, I surrender all. And that is what worship really all about. And the goal of this message series is to help us understand how to live a life of worship. What does worship really mean about our lives? So let's talk about the word worship, okay? And there's many misconception or misunderstanding about the word worship. Some people will say, okay, worship actually happens on Sunday. Once a week when you go to the church to worship God, worship service. Something that worship has something to do inside the church, inside the structure, or inside a facility where we can gather together and sing and worship God. Something that worship is actually every Sunday of the week. Some actually think also that worship is all about music. You have some playlists about praise song, which are fast songs, and you have some playlists about worship songs, some also like slow songs, right? And that's sometimes our misconception about worship. Do you have a worship song? What is our worship song for the lineup this coming Sunday? Some people cannot even worship if the songs are not their preferred genre, right? Some, you know what? I go to church because the church is just so powerful and passionate, just like our worship this earlier. It's like, wow. And some of them cannot worship with that kind of songs, that kind of beat. They want worship with only piano. That's my worship. I can worship God with us with that kind of music. Some cannot worship properly when the drums are so loud. Some cannot worship when there's no pulpit. Some cannot worship if there's no electric or not complete band, right? So those are misconceptions about worship. Another one is some actually would say, you know what, worship has something to do with your emotions, right? Worship must be felt. And if you are not really passionate, and if you are not crying, you are not worshiping God. No, that's wrong. That's not true. Worship has nothing to do with your emotion, or emotions has something to do with worship, but worship has nothing to do with really your emotions. Sometimes when your emotions are so high, woo, you're so happy and excited to worship God. But your emotions are so low, when you have some problems and difficulties or challenges in life, you tend not to so much excited, too excited to worship God. Some people just want to engage emotionally for them to say that, wow, that is worship. Now, some of you or people would also say that worship is optional. No. Worship is not optional. Some people think that it is only for mature Christians. If you raise your hands in worship, wow, you're mature. If you, like that worship, that guy, this is my worship, all of my worship. And then slowly you see some people, and then you sway now. Then some people would say, you know what, he's not really, or they are not really experiencing God because they're not raising their hands, they're not closing their eyes, they're not swaying. No, worship is not about that. Worship is not how good you dance. Worship is not how well or good you sing songs. Some people would say worship is for the young people or old people, but not for me. Those are misconceptions or misunderstanding about worship. It does not mean it's not limited to facility, structure, day of the week, emotions, or whatever reasons. But what worship really mean? And that's what we're going to discover in the next 4 weeks. 4 Sundays before the night of worship. Our topics would be, today, I'll be talking about we are made to worship. And I'm going to share with you some truth that will blow your mind today as we talk about what we are made to worship. Next Sunday, we are called to true worship. What do you mean, Jeff? True worship? Yes, because there are false worshipers. Next Sunday, come back and I'll be sharing with you false worshipers around the world. And it could be inside the church. Mostly are inside the church, sadly. But some are outside the church. We will also be talking about we are created for a communal worship. Meaning we are created for one another, for a community. corporate worship, public worship. The last message is we are groomed, prepared, or prepped for a perpetual worship. One day, we will worship God eternally in heaven, non-stop. While we're here on earth, we are groomed and prepped for that day to come. I'll talk more about that. This will be our journey in the next 4 Sundays, okay? For the meantime, let's proceed to the first message. So let's dive in. Let me ask you a question. What is worship? And I already shared misconceptions and misunderstanding about the word worship. But really, what is worship? And some of you would say that worship is not really my thing. I'm not a religious person. I'm not an emotional person. I'm not into music. I don't know how to sing. I don't know how to play. Worship is not for me. And you can give all other excuses. But listen, worship is not about those things, as I mentioned. Yes, emotions, religions, music, etc. can be part of the word worship. But worship is not limited to those things. Okay, are you still with me? I want to make this simple and straight to the point. And this will blow your mind. Worship is what you do. Yes, each and every one of us are worshipers, is worshiper. You are a worshiper. It is what you do in life. Hey, listen to me. Look at me. You are a worshiper. It is who you are. And boy, I'm telling you, you are a good worshiper. What do you mean? I don't sing. I'm not that emotional. I'm not involved in the live worship team. But you are a worshiper. The question is not, am I? The question is, what or who are you worshiping? Wait a minute. I thought worship refers to God. What are you talking, Jeff, about what or who am I worshiping? Yes, worship refers to God. But the sad reality is we replace God in our hearts. And we are worshiping today something or someone else in our lives in replacement of God. Keep in mind, each of us here is a worshiper. And boy, you are a good worshiper. You heard it right. Let me show you. When Paul wrote this Romans letter to the Romans, he has specified one part where God was so mad of this group of people. The wrath of God was shown to them and God gave them over. This is what Paul said. Ever since the world began, ever since the world was created, people, you and me, have seen the earth and sky. Through everything God made, they can clearly see His invisible qualities, His eternal power, and divine nature. So from the beginning, God always revealing Himself to all humanity. And that's what we call the general or natural revelation of God. People would always say, you know what, there is no God. I don't believe in God. Hey, look around you. The earth is placed in the Milky Way, just designed perfectly. 3 meters closer will not be livable. 3 meters farther, we are not livable because of cold weather. Closer because of hot weather. Your DNA. God wonderfully formed you. The earth, the sky, and everything you see are all evidences of who God is. And yet, we deny that. So, they have no excuses for not knowing God. That's what we call natural or general revelations of God. The other one is the special revelations of God found in His Word. If you want to know God deeper, that's the special revelations of God. The general is look everything around you. Paul continued, verse 21. Yes, they, you, people, me, knew God, but they wouldn't worship Him as God or even give Him thanks. And they began, they create something to worship. They began to think of foolish ideas of what God was like. And that's why we began to think about, we put some statue, we put some people, images, we put some people to worship, right? False prophet to worship. If we touch them, we will be healed. If we cry and we pray for them, we will be healed. Pray with them, we will be healed. Our problems will be answered. We'll get pregnant. We'll solve our problem and all other things. We replace God with all those things. And we began to think of foolish ideas of what God was like. As a result, our minds became dark and confused. While they, you and me, were claiming to be wise, they made fools of themselves. Many people today, in this generation, young people in the university, if you believe in God, you are not intellectual. I'm telling you, that's wrong. If you believe in God, you know what, you should believe in science. You should not believe in God. Come on, challenge me. Let's debate about science. Science proved the existence of God. And many people think, claiming to be wise, actually they are made fools of themselves. All the discoveries of science today leads to who God is, the Creator. And many of us deny that truth and replace God into our life. The next two verses will amaze you. And this could be you. Listen, this could be you. Look at this. They exchange, replace the glory of the immortal God for images that look like mortal humans, bird, animals, and reptiles. That's their culture at that time. During the time of Moses, they create Baal. During the time of the Old Testament, they create gods and make millions of gods through animals, birds, reptiles. But today, we replace God with whatever idols we have. Therefore, God gave them over to the desires of their heart, to impurity, to dishonor their bodies among themselves. I want you to remember the word replace. And this is the last verse, this part. They, again, there's a word, exchange. Our object of worship is God. But wait, we rip that God, exchange that God, replace that God with whatever we want to worship in life. The truth, we replace the truth of God for a lie and worship and serve the creation. Anything we created in life. Rather than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. My friend, you are a worshiper, whether you like it or not. The question is, what or who are you worshiping? Anything you exchange or replace God in your heart, schedule, anything you replace God in your priorities in life is what you are worshiping today. I don't know what it is or who it is, but you are a worshiper of that thing or person. Let me show you some of the possible things we worship these days. Material things. It's not bad to possess things in life. They become our idols if we put our hope and trust in those things. Career and education. Many people are not going to church because of, in pursuit of success, because of education. There's no class on Sunday. Oh, I have to study. Really? Who will help you learn, retain all those memories? God. Why not prioritize Him first and He will help you excel in class? I'm not saying you shouldn't find a job or enjoy your education or find a job that fits your skills and in pursuit to your success. What I'm saying is, if career and education are getting your way against God, if your dream to possess those things is getting way in your relationship with God, then that becomes an idol in your life. If career and education become the center of your life, that becomes an idol. You are worshiping that. Physical appearance. Many of us here go to gym to look good. Look at me. So big. Where's Joel? Huh? Joel is... Oh, by the way, we will have a Greatest Loser, live sports Greatest Loser, starting January to March. And we will award those who will earn, what do you call it, man? Lose weight from January to March, because we eat a lot in December, right? So you need to reduce that January to March. By proportion, by proportion. We'll do that. Live sports, Greatest Loser. Anyway, going to gym to look good, cosmetics to make yourself beautiful are good. Okay? It's not wrong to take care of ourselves, to make ourselves look good. But if this good thing becomes an ultimate thing, this is something that you really so obsess in life, and that becomes the bad thing. Entertainment, Netflix, chill, di ba? Gaming, vacation, etc. These can be good things. In fact, those things are gift from God. But when our lives become all about searching for entertainment, chasing for best experiences in life, then it becomes our idol, our worship, the thing that we worship, when it becomes more important than God. Technology, your phone. The heart of this problem, it's not our phone. The heart of this problem is not the social media or the technology that we're using. The value we place on it, what makes it a problem. When our lives revolve around our phone, how many likes we get, how many followers we want to have, or if we cannot sit for 5 minutes without scanning or refreshing our newsfeed in social media while I'm preaching here, you're churching there, that's your worship, huh? No, we're taking notes, we're taking pictures, yeah. This is my best angle. Just kidding. My point is, if your phone is all about you and you cannot get rid of that, that becomes an idol. Comfort, nothing bad when pursuing comfort in life. It's a good thing. But mind you, life on earth is never about comfort. Jesus even said, in this world, you will experience trouble. And I'm telling you, if you experience comfortable life in this world, you will forget God. You will forget God. Problems of life and challenges of life are part of God molding us to His likeness. What else? Family and children. Okay, this is debatable. Family is important. In fact, family is a gift from God. But it is not as important as God. If you keep using your family as an excuse not to go to church, not to serve God, there's something wrong in your family. Family is a gift from God, and if we enjoy the gift rather than the giver, that's something wrong. That is something wrong. And all other things, fame, influence, and all other things that takes the place of God in our life, anything that becomes more important than Him is the idol that we worship in life. So let me ask you again the question. What or who are you worshiping? What did you replace God in your heart? What do you prioritize more than God in your life? Is it your money, material things, pursuit to power, job, school, pleasure, hobbies, vacation? What or who did you spend most of your time this week? Your money this week, your resources this week. If you cannot really prioritize God, that thing or person is your God, the idol that you worship. What is more important than God in your life? You are a good worshiper, my friend. Whether you like it or not, you are a worshiper. God made you to worship. That's part of your innate, natural being. The question is, what or who are you worshiping? Who? Another truth that I want to communicate is worship is life. Worship is life. It is not part of life. It is not one day of a week. It is not a playlist of songs in your gadget. Worship is everything you are and everything you have in life. The word worship came from the old English word, worthship. It's ascribing to the highest worth of one thing or person. Whatever you value or love most in life, that is what you are worshiping. Whatever is the greatest source of your significance and security in life, that thing is what you are worshiping. You are worshiping that person. If it is your husband, if it is your wife, it is your boss, if it is Taylor Swift, if it is the Oilers, if you find that the value in life, that's something that you are worshiping. And that shows the way that you live in life. So my question to you is, what or who do you value most in life? What is the reason you wake up every morning? Is it your job? Is it the chase for money? What is your motivation in life? It is to chase pleasure, power in this world. And sometimes it reflects on the way you dress, you talk, you perceive life, the way you speak. Let me say it again. Whatever you value in life the most, whatever is the greatest source of your security and significance, that thing or person is what you are worshiping in your life. Think about that. What is it? Or who is it? You are a good worshiper. Now, you can probably ask a question, now what, Jeff? What should we do now? Okay. Worship is life, and it's all about the things that I put in place of God or replace God in my heart. What should we do now? Now, let me define worship. What is worship? Okay, this is the definition that we're going to take for the whole series. Can you read this with me? Ready? Begin. Worship is our proper response to God for who He is and what He has done, expressed by how we live our lives. That is true worship. And we will talk about that in depth, deeper in the next 3 Sundays. But this is what worship is all about. It's all about putting God as the center of your life. It is all about God, a Jesus-centered life. God must be our everything. God must be our top priority in life. The moment we open our eyes in the morning, don't reach to your phone. Talk to God. Before you close your eyes in the evening, don't put your phone. Then, di ba? Put your phone away and talk to God. That is worship for who He is and what He has done throughout the day into your life. God must be our everything. It must be the most important thing, the most valuable thing you have in this world. It must be all about God. And if we replace God in our hearts, then we are worshiping something else or someone else in life. What should we do now? Okay, Jeff. Guilt. Okay. I admit I replace God in my life. I pursue career, money, power, pleasure. I forget God. What should we do now? The truth is, you are made to worship. That's part of your being. God created you to worship. The sad truth is, we replace God with something else or someone else in our life. What can we do now? Make Jesus the center of your worship. How? Very simple. Let's go back to that verse I shared earlier. We must reverse the sinful cycle of humanity. They exchange the glory of the immortal God for the images that look like mortal humans, birds, animals, and reptiles, meaning all other things that I mentioned earlier. We should replace not God, but we should exchange all our idols for the glory of the one true God in our lives. We should not pursue material things in life. Yes, career and educations are important, but come on. That will not bring you to the end. Only God can. Physical appearance, beauty will fade, but God will never fail you. Technology, comfort, name it, everything will fade. But God will remain faithful till the end. So I'm suggesting to you, my friend, exchange all your idols. Stop with your bad habits and replace it with good habits, making God the top priority of your life. You are made to worship. Question is, what are you worshiping? Another verse, they exchanged the truth of God for a lie and worship and serve the creation. We must worship our one Creator rather than the created things in this life. Whatever you replace God in your heart, in your life, in your schedule, are all created things. Only one is eternal, our Creator. Don't bet your life to a sinking sand, to a losing side. Worship the one that truly matters in life, God and God alone. And if we do this, and if we live a Jesus-centered life, if we truly worship the Creator, God Himself, if we reverse the sinful cycle of humanity, this is what Jesus said. If you refuse to worship or follow Jesus, if you exchange the immortal God, the Creator, with all the created things in this world, you are not worthy of being with Jesus. one day you will meet Jesus. Jesus, I want to be with you. I want to be in your presence. Where were you? You don't even make me your priority. You don't even give me a little part of your time, resources, your money is all about you and yourself. Then you're telling me to be with me? That is what Jesus is saying. If you refuse to worship Jesus, if you replace God, the Creator, with all created things, you are not worthy. You and I, including me, are not worthy to be with Jesus. Following here means worshiping Jesus. If you cling to your life, meaning to the idols that you worship today, you will lose your life. But if you give up your idols, your own self, for Jesus, you will save your life. Folks, I'm telling you, this is important. Don't take me as something as scolding you or sermoning you. Okay? This is a message for all of us, including me. And I think we have to be reminded of the truth. Yes, we are living in this fallen world and we're so busy. Moving from one place to another, meeting one person to another, work from to another, one point from point to A, B to point B. That's the reality of life. But what I'm telling you is this. We have to counter that cycle. Because there's only one thing that matters, is Jesus. You know, last season of the hockey, of course, we are all, I don't know all, Cherry's not here, he's a Canucks fan, but we beat him, right? But we're all Oilers fan. No, if I follow Oilers, as I follow Oilers, I identify myself as an Oiler. I wear an Oiler jersey. Even how many times? Probably 3 times I preach here throughout the playoffs. I preach with different colors of jersey. White, blue, orange. Right? I chant for Oilers. Duke, 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 Duke. Let's go Oilers. Right? I pose for Oilers. Woo! McDavid's 100 assists for the season. Record. I want the world to know that I'm an Oiler fan. But when we lost in the 7th game of the finals, I kept my jersey, remove it, put it, remove the flag in my car. I kept quiet, deleted all the posts. And then I go to the corner and cry. My point is, that goes to whatever you are worshiping or following today. I am still an Oiler fan, and I pray that they will win later tonight. But my whole point is, where do you place your worship? Who is the object of your worship? What is the thing that you prioritize and put value in life more than God? I'm telling you, if you bet your life, you are always on the losing side. If you bet your life to whatever that thing or that person is. But when you follow Jesus, when you worship Jesus, When you live a Jesus-centered life, you will never be on the losing side. There will be hiccups, there will be hardship, there will be problems, there will be obstacles. But you have the guarantee that Jesus is always by your side. And you will always be in the winning side. So the truth, my friend, is this. You are made to worship. Make sure you worship what truly matters in life. And worshiping Jesus is the only way. Worshiping Jesus is what truly matters till the end of time. The rest are sinking sand. You are made to worship. Make Jesus the center of your worship.